yesterday, got the pelvis finished, the lumbar is finished. The lumbar definitely couldn't be built right now. The pelvis maybe, but this is draft one, so I'm not too worried about it. I wish I had gotten a little bit more done yesterday. This stuff just takes time. So today, I'm going to be working on the torso, which I haven't done before. And hopefully we'll get that done. And then I'd love to get some more done than that. So maybe either part of the arm. I might go to the arm because I don't really want to figure out the neck and the head right now. So I might go up one of the limbs, or down one of the limbs instead of going up to the head. But I definitely want to get the pelvis done. One thing I'm working on right now is it's hard, or not the pelvis, the torso. It's hard to get. I want this to have. It's a lot easier to make this a flat angle. It's a lot easier to attach the two with two-dimensional pieces, but I really want it angled a little bit. I want a little bit of a slope, the strong-looking chest. So I have to figure that out. So I'm working on that right now. I'm not sure how that's gonna go down. I'm not sure. That's the main problem I had to figure out. See if I can figure out the geometries in order to make that work correctly. So that's what I'll be doing. All right, guys. Let me tell you what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking about trying to do actuation on this suit. I'm not necessarily going to start with it. What I am going to try to do by the end of the month, and what my plan is to try to get the frame built. That's all I'm trying to do by the end of the month. So I want to have that ready, but I want to have the ability to go try to actuate it later if I desire. So I don't think I'm going to do exo muscles on this because I just don't have them working yet, and they're just not ready. But what I am thinking is something kind of like this. So something like this. So this would be a brushless DC motor, and this would be a controller for it, and obviously there'd be battery powered going into it as well. And then a gear system, so a reduction gear to make this, and I gotta figure out if that would need to be 1 or 2 gears, and they would probably be 3D printed gears, probably. Or maybe we try to find build the box and try to buy the gears, I don't know. But, and then a pulley system, which would just be like a tendon. So no muscle, just wrapping up a tendon essentially. So it would behave very similar to the exo muscles as far as it being a flexible linear actuator. So that's what I'm thinking right now. And then I could just put a normal linear actuator or rotational actuator on each joint, but I counted it up. It ends up being about 49 actuators if you put them on every single joint. So for every rotational joint, or if we use this that I came up with, assuming this actually works, but assuming the muscle arrangement I have here, it's about 36 exo muscles. In this case, it'll be like exo tendon muscles. I don't know, I'll have to come up with a name for this type of actuator, but an actuator like this. So I want to have the ability to put that in the future, so I might mock up something like this, account for enough room. Okay, and then this is what I'm thinking. So this will be the inside of the exoskeleton, which is what I'm designing now. So I'm designing this right now, which is going to be the printed or the cut metal. And then what I'm thinking is on all these struts that I have going out right now, there's 2 of them. What I'm thinking is essentially putting another layer on top and then kind of making that a triangle, and then it'll be removable. It'll be unboltable and removable. So the entire... so what this is, essentially there's going to be an outer shell, essentially, that I'm going to make. And that'll cover up all the actuators. And so it'd be like the part of the Iron Man suit you'd actually see. It will be the part you actually see. So I'm going to water jet cut a frame for the shell, and then the shell on the outside is going to be some kind of sheet metal. Aluminum or steel. Probably steel. It's going to get welded directly to the metal just to make it simpler instead of trying to fasten it in some way. But it'll be removable. And then in between those 2 layers is going to be where the exo muscles are. So that's what I'm thinking right now. So what I need to do is I'm going to go get a piece of vellum. At least I'm planning on going to do that right now, which is a piece of material I can put over this. And then I'm going to draw down on that. Probably not quite as pretty as this was, but I'm going to draw onto it the actual shell, the exoskeleton, the skin, we'll call it the skin, the outermost layer of the suit. So I'm still going to finish up draft 1, I think, kind of like this is. And then after that, then I'll go and do it with draft 2. I'll do it where it has that kind of tertiary top layer, which the skin is going to be put on. So, and then, but I have to figure out kind of how I want to do the skin. So that's why I'm going to get a piece of vellum to put over this, so I can draw on there and start to figure it out. Actually, now that I'm looking at this drawing, I think there might be too many mistakes in it anyway. I'm already seeing things that I know aren't going to work that I've already changed. So I think instead of messing around with getting vellum, which would be cool, I can make a cool little pretty thing to go over this, but I really just want to figure it out. I think what I'm going to do instead is just take this downstairs and get my notebook and just try to draw out some rough stuff of what I think the skin is gonna, how it would mount and look like. So. Oliver's mad because I'm making him fast. He's overweight. My parents overfeed him, and he steals dog food, so when he's here I make him fast. Don't worry, it's good for you. I think I'm gonna need a more clever way to bolt this in. I don't know if just bolting straight in, because I don't know if I want to put bolts on the outside. What I'd love to do is I'd like to figure out some clever way to where you can still take it off and put it on with some kind of strong locking system that doesn't require, because right now they're gonna butt up against each other and the bolt has to go through it, so it'd have to stick out. There should be a way to get it to go together with the, I gotta figure it out. Remember when I said that neighbor cat came in my house? Look who's in my fucking house. There's Oliver. There's Smokey. Oliver doesn't seem too put off by it. Like yesterday he was mad. He saw him yesterday and he did not like him there. Right now he looks pretty chill. Look at him. He's not even puffed up. Come here, Smokey. It's alright. I'm not gonna throw you out. I'm just gonna put you right there. Be nice. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Be nice. You can have a cat friend. It's okay. Oliver's jealous of my love. That's probably what it is. God, that cat scares me every time. What the fuck? I don't expect him to be in there. What a ballsy cat. What kind of cat just does that? So I'm drawing out the underneath part right now, which is what I've been building. So I'm drawing out the part that I've been building so I can think about it, including some other stuff that I know that I haven't built yet, but I know where it's going. I need to work on this fastening system. I can do something more clever than this. Bolt is simple though. In the peripheries, in the inner frame and the outer frame, skin, whatever we're calling it here, the skin is gonna be, there's gonna be a frame for the skin that I'm gonna build that's gonna unbolt from the inner frame, and then they'll unbolt, and so I can put all the actuators in there and then bolt them together, and then they'll reinforce each other on each side. That's the main reason I'm doing this, is if you just put them on the outside, they tend to crush the exoskeleton, especially under the huge loads of my exomuscles. So by surrounding them, they get stronger. So the inner frame is gonna have then all the exomuscles put on it, and then the outer frame will be bolted to it, and then they'll both be the structural support for the forces inside. And then the outer frame will have the skin on it, which when it becomes full-on Iron Man suit, it'll be bulletproof. But I can't afford that right now unless I get clever with something in the meantime. I could also 3D print these. I don't have to use a skin. I don't have to use a sheet metal. I could 3D print some kind of strong system that becomes a composite that then is made bulletproof or stronger and lighter or whatever I want to do with it. I don't necessarily have to put sheet metal on it. I could do a composite too. One thing I might do is a carbon fiber reinforced 3D printed filament out of nylon that'll take a compressive load and then put a composite shell on the outside, so make like a honeycomb scaffolding out of the 3D printed part, and then that has carbon fiber in it, so it's good and rigid, and then do a carbon fiber Kevlar composite wrap on the outside to make it super strong. That's what I'm planning on doing in some of my future ones. I don't know if I'll do that on this one. I think that might be a bit much for this one. I think I'm gonna go get him. Be nice, Oliver. One thing I could do is right now I'm trying to double up all the struts, so all the parts that wrap across, I was doubling them up so they'd be stronger. It may end up making more sense to do the doubled up part. I don't know, maybe it might make sense to get rid of it completely, because because it won't need to be as strong when it's attached to the exoskeleton. So now I'm going in and I'm drawing in where I think the outer shell, the outer frame, or the outer frame and skin will be. We'll call it the outer frame. I think that makes more sense. So outer frame with the skin on top, whatever the skin ends up being, which is probably going to be sheet metal is the plan right now. chest will have a thinner piece on the inside here to mount all the joints to, and then out from that will be wider, because the further away from it is, the bigger it can be, because of the angles and where it stops. So if it stops right here, and if it's close, it's got to be smaller than if it stops all the way out here, if this is as far out as your shoulder girdle moves, like that, right? This can be a lot broader because it comes out as a triangle. So these parts will be bigger and also stronger because of that too. There won't be any joints though on this. This is all going to be structural reinforcement. So I think these will generally follow the shapes of a lot of the parts, and then there's going to be other parts that go on to, in some manner, to. Oh, one thing I was saying is they'll be in the hands, the feet, and on the face. There won't be a change in between those two types of. There won't be an inner and an outer frame. There will just be one frame, and then the skin will be put right on top of that one frame, where they get a little thinner and where you don't have as much muscles and stuff going in between them. That's the plan anyway. I mean, I guess you could still put a really thin layer in there, and then you can do like cable management through it or something. But probably if you're gonna do that, probably just do a frame and then put holes in the frame for cable management and stuff. I say cable management, I mean all kinds of stuff, like obviously all the cables, all the powers, all the sensor cables, power cables, all that. Cooling fluids eventually is going to flow through this. Sensor signals, and then output signals, and then power electronics, and then if it's got the hydraulic muscles on it, eventually there will also be hydraulic fluid running through there, and then assuming that the reservoir isn't built into each actuator 100%, and then there will also be like I said, cooling fluid, both for the wearer and for the electronics, and those will probably share the same system in some clever way, I'm not sure yet. And then eventually there may even be like fuel lines running through it for flight, if those eventually get built in. The first model though, I was thinking this, so I can keep building this thing, building up, so I just want to get the frame built first. And I'm going to build the frame, and then I'm going to 3D print some foam pieces to sit in there, and then I'm actually going to walk around in it, like I talked about, unpowered. So I will actually wear this unpowered to begin with. And then after I get that figured out, I can take out all those and then put in my sensor padding, which will have pressure sensors all over the body, and then that'll get that information will get plumbed into an artificial neural network, and then I can also put in the actuators, and then the artificial neural network will control the actuators. So that would be like step 2. So step 1, get the frame built with just pads, non-powered, and then so that'd be like the Mark 1 NP, non-powered, and then we do the Mark 1 P, which is where we take it up and we put batteries, actuators, and a control system and sensors, internal sensors, and then get a neural network to move the suit, and then that would get you like walking and stuff after that. And after that, I think I built the flamethrower after I get during the non-powered suit, I think. And then after I get the powered suit, then I will put jets on each hand, and I'll get it to hover. I highly doubt this one I would feel comfortable flying in horizontal, but I can definitely get hovering started. So I can do that too. That would be the last step. The first step will just be non-powered. The cheapest way to do it would just 3D printed foam supports that just sit on the bodies, and I'll hold the weight, and then that'll be cool. And then I'll get it powered, and then get it to hover. And the cool thing about it is we can fly it. I can fly it, and I can start it off tethered and without me in it, and get it hovering really well, and then I can get it and hover. And then I was thinking we could do some cool shit, like probably not with me in it, but set it up to a pretty high altitude and back down, do some crazy cool stuff like that. So that would be all things I can work on, build this as this channel grows and as this system grows and stuff. So right now, I've kind of just taken and I drew in kind of what I was building right now, and then right now I'm thinking those parts are just going to be bigger versions of the same part, and that's probably going to be true. I'm not too worried about this thing being bulky. I mean, it's going to be bulky, but it'll be cool because I'll be this kind of huge, ominous thing in this thing, but be able to move really efficiently. So it'll be neat to have it bulky. There's one spot where we can't have it bulky, is I got to keep the bulk down on the sides here and on the side of the arms, because I don't want to have to sit with my arms out like this. This would be really annoying to me. I want to be able to sit with my arms in tight as possible. Like, they're gonna have to stick out some, absolutely, but my thought for making this more complicated is let's try to get as much done as we can with this suit. You know, think that cat just went back in my house. Are you back in there, Oliver? Look at this crazy cat. He's back again. So goofy. It's probably not very well drawn to scale. Also on the inside of the legs is an important spot to keep bulk down for the same reason. So I think I'm gonna go back to that type of joint that I had that's also present in this transverse lumbar plane that I've been talking about so much. That kind of joint was a similar, essentially the same type of joint, just built differently, was on the 3D printed exoskeleton. If you haven't seen that, go watch my video on that up there, because that'll keep that bulk down on the insides. And then right here, I think I'm gonna build on the lower frame like this, 2 joints, and this one will be floating, and then the the outer frame will connect up and then over here and support that. It's kind of what I'm thinking right now, but we'll see. Just to give it more support on the lower arm on that, across that joint. I have to rethink where I'm putting some of these muscles. The biceps in particular I know isn't going to work where they are on that old drawing. Okay, I've drawn in the rest of the inner frame, the deep frame, we'll call that, the superficial frame. And so now what I'm doing is I'm going in and I'm going to draw over the superficial frame, which will hold the skin. If you don't know, deep is like your heart and superficial is like your skin. I keep saying ventral and dorsal. Ventral means the front of your body, and dorsal means the back of your body. And then you have superior and inferior. So we also use those. So superior means towards your head and inferior means towards your feet. The pauldron on this is going to be interesting. That pauldron part for the shoulder is going to be an interesting piece. I mean, if we're going to build it, might as well build it to where it could be powered later, right? With the ultimate goal of doing that. I mean, I could always decide I don't want to power it and leave it unpowered. But what if I decide I want to power it and I didn't take the time to figure out how to power it at the beginning? So I think at least trying to get to the point where it can be powered, even if it doesn't become powered, is a good idea. Okay, so I've done the upper arms there. I've drawn out the big parts, and then the pauldron goes right here. Pauldron is a piece on like a medieval piece of armor that covers your shoulder girdle. So I'm gonna figure out how that is gonna go on. That is probably gonna be held like just stuck on with like fabric of some way, because it's gonna have to move so much. So the exoskeleton, the deep frame is probably gonna be moving around. The deep frame, remember, has all the joints on it, is gonna be moving around, and then the superficial frame will just be probably tied on with like Kevlar of some sort like that on for the pauldron part in particular. Probably not really anywhere else, but probably for the pauldron. So I gotta come back to that and think of that. And then this deep frame, which I've said is going to cover up all the actuators, and so when I design it in CAD, I'm going to mock up first what I would, well, essentially I'm going to mock up or take a guess or something of what I think I can get one of those actuators that I designed. So it means I'm probably going to have to do some rough design on that before I continue doing too much CADing. Probably going to continue draft 1, probably not going to throw it out, though I have gotten the chest done out of it, which I haven't done. At least I've done the arms. Still haven't done the legs. I should really probably do the legs. I should probably go ahead and finish it, but I know it's wrong now, so we'll see. So that would be it. I mean, like, it probably doesn't look like much. It looks bulkier, I'm sure, to you, but like I said, it'll be pretty bulky, but it'll, like I said, try to keep the bulk out of this area in here and in there, and then out in between the legs. So like I said, just the pauldron, really. I have to figure that out, but that could probably just be tied on in some way. I'll go watch some YouTube videos and look at armor. I'm gonna look at Adam Savage's, I already started today, but I'm gonna look at Adam Savage's video series again with Terry English, where he made that armor. Watch that, see how he does that. Get an idea for how this thing will move a little bit more. But so now we have a deep and a superficial frame. The superficial frame has the skin on it. So that's what we learned today. And I'm not sure where I am on the CADing. I'm not sure if I'm going to start on draft 2 now and try to do it with this, or I might just go through and try to do a very rough redesign of, because I think I might take some of what I've changed and try to apply it anyway and just go ahead and do it just to practice it. It's probably what I'll do. I'll probably, because I haven't touched the head at all. So it would be good, I think, just to go practice going through all of it, because I'm learning stuff doing it. And so I might just because I already know the lumbar's fucked up, but I didn't go back and change the lumbar. The pelvis looks pretty good right now. Like it looks like it could almost be used, but I mean the lumbar's super fucked up. The pelvis looks workable. Looks like the torso is going to be workable. So I might just take it and keep building the way I was. But now designing for this new design, but just keep on going down the limb. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably finish draft 1, even though things have already changed a lot from the first draft, the first part when I started this draft. So like, you know, the supports might go from 2 to 1 now, which actually makes it easier for me to keep modeling. So I can go through it faster. That's probably the main difference that'll change right there. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. Gotta go get ready for work, and then gotta edit some video. So you guys have a good one.